Stop wasting your money on regulator myths. Listen, every single person at the airgun counter is buying the wrong story. They think Gen 3 PCPs are still just tools. Point, shoot, accept the curve, move on. And it's costing them thousands in ammunition, frustration, and kills they should have made. Here's what actually changed in 2026. The entire game flipped. We're not talking about minor tweaks anymore. We're talking about platforms where consistency isn't luck, it's built in. Where an external regulator actually means something. Where a carbon fiber bottle isn't a flex, it's the entry fee. Where you get 260 consecutive shots that land in the same zip code, or 110 foot-pounds of slug energy without the recoil nightmare, or something light enough to hike with all day. 5 rifles right now own this space completely, and I'm about to show you which one is built for exactly what you're doing. Whether that's precision plinking, serious hunting, tactical modularity, classic wood aesthetics, or just actually going out without an electric compressor strapped to your truck. But first, you need to understand the mechanic that separates the winners from the also-rans. Moving on to the lightest entry point in this entire tier system. This is where the conversation shifts entirely. See, most shooters think they need heavy titanium bottles and electric compressors before they can even think about regulated PCP accuracy. Snowpeak PR900 Gen 3 smashes that gatekeeping. At just over 5 pounds with a 130 cubic centimeter steel air cylinder, this rifle slides into a category almost no other regulated platform occupies. It's the only modern Gen 3 PCP that genuinely doesn't need a power compressor strapped to your truck. That sounds like a compromise, but it absolutely is not. The price sits around $300, making it the gateway drug to genuinely regulated, flat curve accuracy. Here is the mechanical revolution embedded in this platform. The biggest upgrade separating Gen 3 from its predecessor Gen 2 generation is the factory-installed regulator. Previous models used direct cylinder pressure, chaos by design. Each shot varied wildly because the valve opened straight to whatever pressure the tank was at in that moment. 54 psi at first round, 42 at round 10, 28 by round 40. The Gen 3 regulator intercepts that pressure. It isolates the discharge valve, ensuring that every single shot, from round 1 to round 45, receives the exact same metered volume of air at the exact same pressure setting. No more chasing your zero. No more trajectory curves that force you to memorize holdovers every 5 shots. This is the architecture that separates toys from precision instruments. The mechanical feel runs razor clean. Pulling the bolt-action handle requires almost zero friction. It's not the smoother side lever action you get on higher-end platforms. But for a rifle tracking at $300, the engineering is legit. The shot breaks dead silent. Maybe a soft metallic tap from the hammer striking the valve, then nothing. Almost zero recoil impulse sits somewhere between a heavy pellet rifle and an air pump. What you hear most is the action itself, not the percussion. The Snowpeak uses a rotating Remington-style magazine holding 9 rounds in .22 caliber, 7 rounds in .25, vastly more reliable than the older CP-style magazines that wore out if you looked at them sideways. Every chamber feeds dead center. The ergonomics are pure traditional sporter. If you learned marksmanship on wood and steel decades ago, this rifle's design language speaks your dialect. But here is the deal breaker, and it matters if you are hunting anything beyond rabbits and pest birds. The platform outputs only 18 to 24 foot-pounds of energy, depending on caliber and pellet weight. For someone stepping into PCP territory, that is plenty. 45 consistent shots per fill at competition power, sometimes stretching to 100 shots at reduced settings for backyard plinking. The real tension emerges when the rest of this list gets involved. Because on the next rung up, you are about to see platforms that absolutely shatter energy ceilings like this one. Platforms that push past 50, 70, even 100 foot-pounds, while still maintaining the regularity that makes precision shooting pure. Stick with me here. Moving on to number 4, we have the Dynamic Air Rifles Generation 3, better known as the DAR. Spitting 22 cal lead from a beautifully finished Monte Carlo walnut stock, this rifle is a throwback to classic sporter aesthetics. Street price is right around $450, which is highly competitive for a regulated system wrapped in real wood. Cycling the side lever feels incredibly deliberate, loading the 10-shot rotary magazine with precise indexing. Pulling the adjustable 2-stage trigger breaks like a delicate shard of glass. Because natural wood absorbs harmonic resonance differently than synthetic materials, the firing cycle feels completely dead in your hands. With the factory moderator and a 16.25-inch heavy steel barrel doing the work, the muzzle report sounds like the muted thud of a heavy encyclopedia hitting a carpeted floor. Highly accurate right out of the gate. The true magic of this platform is unlocked when you drop in aftermarket parts. It runs off a 3000 psi fill pressure, utilizing a 33 CCS power plenum. While it shoots decent from the factory, upgrading to an aerospace-grade Huma air regulator takes it to another level. This precision-machined regulator vents directly to the atmosphere, which entirely prevents pressure creep and allows the valve to deliver single-digit extreme spreads across more than 40 shots. Honestly, you will probably need that aftermarket upgrade because the factory quality control can be a massive headache. Out of the box, some of these rigs suffer from extreme velocity spikes, where the first few shots jump from 400 feet per second rapidly up to over 900, purely due to improperly set hammer spring tension. If you are not a tinkerer, this air and performance quirk will drive you absolutely insane. Sound off down in the comments if you have personally tuned one of these wooden beauties for the woods, because I know the traditional firearm guys will doubt what a tuned DAR can do on a hunt. Stepping up the power and accuracy game now. This is where aesthetics meet real-world field precision without the tactical modularity overhead. Dynamic Air Rifles Gen 3 represents the traditional sporter philosophy: walnut wood, classic Monte Carlo profile, and engineering that asks you to do something most modern shooters never consider anymore: actually understand your equipment. The aesthetic hits different than everything above it. Genuine walnut wood grain wrapping a rifle that could have shipped in 1985 gives the whole platform a nostalgic weight. But that wood is not nostalgia padding, it is functional acoustic damping. Unlike synthetic chassis systems that ring and telegraph vibration forward into the barrel, natural hardwood absorbs harmonic resonance. The result is a firing cycle that feels distinctly dead compared to plastic-stocked platforms. Each shot breaks with the kind of mechanical finality you get from classical air rifles, creating shot-to-shot grouping that tightens beyond what the ballistics alone would predict. Inside lives the mechanical secret that makes this platform dangerous in the right hands. A 16.25-inch heavy barrel with integrated muzzle brake and built-in sound suppression uses passive harmonic cancellation, fluted steel channels beneath the shroud strip turbulent air, and reduce back pressure noise to backyard legal decibel levels right from the factory. This is not a bolted-on moderator that adds weight. It is the barrel itself engineered as a sound management system. Underneath runs a 33 cubic centimeter plenum coupled to a factory preset regulator locked at 3000 psi. The cylinder is small. The regulation is tight. The consistency runs flat across 40-shot strings, pushing 900 foot per second in .22 caliber, with standard deviation numbers in the single digits. Some users report 3 to 4 FPS spread on competition ammo. But here is the catch that separates the real shooters from the YouTube Rangers. Quality control across DAR Gen 3 units has been inconsistent. Some rifles ship with O-rings cut or seated improperly, creating creeping pressure loss that builds frustration fast. Others arrive with factory hammer spring tension set wrong, causing velocity climbs so steep that the first 5 shots track at 400 FPS before screaming past 900 by shot 15. This means buying a DAR Gen 3 is gambling. You might get a tack driver, or you might get a platform that demands a complete internal rebuild before it shoots straight. However, and this is critical, DAR Gen 3 has become the aftermarket tuner's dream. Drop in a Huma Air Regulator retrofit, a CNC machined aluminum unit costing roughly $150, and something alchemical happens. That same rifle transforms into a 100+ shot performer with extreme spread under 1 FPS. Suddenly, you own a $2,000 accuracy platform for under $600 total investment. The ergonomics favor precision shooters, not hunters in motion. The 2-stage trigger adjusts cleanly between 1.5 and 5 pounds, but there is no quick adjust knob on the stock like you get on higher platforms. Magazine changes use the rotating Remington-style carousel without issues. The wooden furniture adds real weight, just under 7 pounds without optics, anchoring the rifle naturally into shooting bags and rests. Shoulder it, and you sense purpose. This is not a tool built for quick transition tactical engagement or rapid follow-up shots in the field. This is a platform engineered for one job, making holes that group at impossible distance. Entering the serious hunting territory now, this is where the platforms stop being backyard fun and start becoming actual weapons. AEA Precision Airguns did not design the Challenger Pro Gen 3 for competition target shooting or pest control. They engineered it for one mission: pushing heavyweight projectiles downrange with enough kinetic authority to ethically take medium-sized game at range. At $875, this rifle sits at a price inflection point, expensive enough that you are buying intent, not just tools. The mechanical architecture here is built on extreme pressure and extreme volume working in concert. Most PCP rifles use a single air storage chamber. AEA threw that convention out and engineered a 150 cubic centimeter power plenum, a secondary pressure vessel living immediately behind the valve stack. In practice, here is what that means. When you fire a heavy slug, the valve opens and dumps a massive volume of already regulated air instantly available without any pressure bleed down. A normal plenum might hold 30 or 40 cubic centimeters. 150 cubic centimeters is massive. It means the rifle can accelerate a 50-grain slug to 975 foot per second and maintain that velocity for 25 consecutive shots, even when pushing a 35 caliber, 9mm, that demands near 300 joule energetics. The external hammer spring wheel, marked with plus and minus indicators, lets you dial tension without disassembly, essentially allowing real-time tuning of valve dwell time to match whatever ammunition weight you loaded that morning. Listen to what happens when you touch off a round. The firing signature carries a deep, authoritative thump, nothing quiet or refined. The shroud barely manages to suppress the turbulence. The recoil impulse sits modest by firearm standards, but noticeable compared to smaller PCP platforms. Muzzle rise is minimal. The action cycles through the side lever with deliberate friction, requiring genuine mechanical commitment from the shooter. There is no ambiguity about whether the round actually fired. Every shot announces itself as a serious act. But here is the friction point, and it is financial. The Challenger Pro Gen 3 demands premium ammunition to justify its engineering. Standard weight Diabolos cost 30 to 40 cents per round. Enter the Slug universe. The specialized heavy projectiles this rifle is designed for, and you are looking at 75 cents to $1.20 per projectile. Run the rifle at full power through that plenum for 25 shots, and you have just spent $15 to $30 on ammunition. Scale that across a hunting season. A serious slug shooter burning through a box of ammunition every couple of range sessions is hemorrhaging cash compared to owners of standard caliber platforms who can shoot bargain Diablo pellets all week at lower costs. The efficiency math works only if you accept that slug shooting is premium shooting and you are not price sensitive about ammunition budgets. The modular tactical architecture compounds the ergonomic load. Aluminum folding stock, AR-15 compatible pistol grip, full Picatinny rail system for tactical accessories. This rifle wants to carry a precision rifle scope, adjustable cheek rest, and two-leg bipod. Add those accessories and you are suddenly looking at a platform that weighs 9 to 10 pounds with glass mounted. That is not a light rifle for long-distance field hunting. That is a precision platform built for deliberate setup, controlled breathing, and time to dial dope. It demands respect and discipline. Closer to the crown, at number 1 we have the undisputed king of 2026, the Benjamin Marauder, Generation 3, Spitz, 22 caliber lead, with a level of factory-tuned perfection that completely redefines the sport. The damage to your wallet is around $830, but what you get out of the box is an absolute masterpiece. It gives you the immense shot count that puts the Snowpeak at number 5 to shame, but with a refined valve system that makes the Umarex at number 2 look like a crude sledgehammer. Racking the reversible side lever takes barely 15 pounds of force, gliding backward like pulling a hot knife through butter. When you pull the adjustable 2-stage trigger, it breaks right around 2 pounds and 5 ounces, like snapping a crisp carrot. Because of the fully shrouded BSA cold hammer-forged barrel and integrated baffles, the muzzle report is dead silent, sounding just like a tiny staple gun being fired into a thick pillow. Under the hood, this rig uses a highly advanced balanced valve paired with a lightweight hammer and a spring stop guide. Honestly, this is why it dominates. Instead of a heavy hammer smashing the valve open and bouncing multiple times, this system stops the hammer dead after one strike, severely reducing hammer bounce. This means it wastes zero air, delivering an absolutely insane 260 consistent shots per fill off its massive 500 cc's aluminum bottle. Look, even the King has a flaw, and this one comes down to its sheer physical footprint. Tipping the scales at 9.2 pounds empty, the ergonomics of this rig are undeniably heavy and clunky for a traditional sporter profile. Lugging this massive synthetic and metal rig through dense brush all day is going to wear your shoulder out fast. But for absolute bench rest supremacy and backyard-friendly pest control, nothing else comes close. Look, the airgun market is moving faster than ever, and these Generation 3 platforms prove you do not need to drop $2,000 just to get a regulated tack driver. Whether you are slinging massive 30 cal slugs for serious hunting, or just want a mouse fart quiet setup for backyard pest control, the technology has finally caught up to the demands of the real world. Stop wasting your air and your money on outdated gear. If you want the raw truth without the marketing fluff, lock it in right here.